Good morning, y'all. Welcome back to another video on the Luderco Arms channel. What we've got here is a Winchester Model 70 rifle. This one's in 243. Customer brought it by because the trigger is stuck to the rear. So, first step, what we're going to do, let's check and make sure the chamber is empty, which it is. I did that prior. So we need to remove the bolt. So you've got a small button here, a little lever. You can push straight down on that, pull the bolt straight out, and we'll look. And the sear is down. So if we put the bolt back in, we can see that when we run the bolt forward, the sear is not catching. So we'll pull the screws out and pull the action out of the magazine and see what's going on. So you've got 3 screws. You got one here, one here, and then there's also one under the floor plate for the magazine. So let's pull these out. Now we should be able to pull the action up out of the stock. This one is tight. We may. So I believe that this sling swivel has got to come off, I think. So we'll see what we can do there. Wow, that is tight in that stock. This might have been bedded. Alright, well, let me get something else and I'll be right back. Alright, so this thing was stuck in the stock, and so what I had to do was basically hold the stock right here and take a rubber mallet and give it a couple of good whacks right in front of the stock on the bottom side of the barrel, and she dropped right out. So we're good to go there. We've got it out of the stock, and I can already see what the problem is. If you look right here, there's a pin and it is sticking out, and if you look on this side right here, you can see that it is not all the way through there. So what we're going to do is squeeze this down a bit and push the pin, there we go, back into its hole. So now this should work. So let's get our bolt and put it back in. And there we go. Alright, so the problem is repaired. And the other thing the customer wanted was to see if we could get the trigger pull on this at 3.5 pounds. So let me get this set up in the vise and get my trigger pull gauge out and the wrenches, and I'll show you how to adjust this Model 70 trigger. So let me get set up for that. Okay, I've got this chucked up in the vise now, and in order to adjust this trigger, you've got a couple of little bitty nuts right here. They're locked together, so you'll have to loosen them. And then this nut that's up against the spring, if you tighten it, it increases the trigger pull, and if you loosen it, it decreases the trigger pull. Now, right now, according to my gauge, this thing's got about a 5-pound trigger. 4.5 that time. Five and a half. Five and a quarter. So we got to do this. So what you'll need for this little itty bitty thing here is 2 1/4-inch wrenches. And what we want to do is get these on here. And this thing is itty bitty. Loosen off that bottom one. There we go. So we'll just pull it up a little bit to give us some adjustment room. And then we're gonna loosen off of this just a hair, and then we'll test it again. And this thing is very sensitive. So just that little bit of loosening I did dropped that trigger pull to 3.9. That was 2 pounds 15 ounces that time, so we may need to tighten up just a little bit. Let's try it once more. That's 3. Four that time. Not super consistent. That was 3.5. We're gonna try that. That's pretty good right there. So now you just tighten that. Once you get it where you want it, tighten that second nut back down to lock it in place. And then of course you want to double check it again. Oh, helps if you cock it. I'm doing right now is getting an average. Yep. So that's an average 3.3, and I think he's going to like that. I think it's going to feel pretty good. So now what we'll do is double check and make sure these nuts are tight. We want to make sure that the safety is still working. It does. Another thing that I like to do is take my plastic handled mallet with the safety on, make sure that everything's tight. Alright, so now that's adjusted, and all we've got to do now is put the rifle back together and double check our work. So let me get set up to do that. Alright, so now that we're ready to reassemble the rifle, we will drop the action down into the stock, like so. We need to drop our magazine back in where it came out of, and we need to get it in the right spot, so I think maybe put it, there we go. Go. That all looks good. We will start each of our screws here back in. Screw for the magazine plate. Come on, there we go. We'll snug these down. Now, do not over tighten these screws because it can mess with the function of the rifle. All right. Now we'll put our bolt back in. We'll function check. That's nice. Make sure the safety still works. Yep. Alright. And that is that. Another gun back to work. So, hopefully this has helped y'all. And we appreciate y'all watching and supporting the channel. And we'll see you in the next video. Y'all have a good one.